As you can see, my posting schedule is absolute dog water, so here's a speed paint while I go over some OC lore. So if you've been on my account for a little bit, you would know that I have an OC named Charlie. He was a serial killer. I don't know if that was really mentioned, because I have done a few lore videos, but not that many. So, but anyways, my OC Charlie was born in 1852. Such a silly guy. He was born in 1852, where he was born into a awfully wealthy family, and they disliked him a lot. Like, they did not want a kid. I don't know why they had one. I guess standards? I don't know. So they had a child and treated him absolutely horribly. They would buy him clothes that are too big for him, just so that they wouldn't have to do it again for an awfully long time. So he often wore large, baggy clothing, never fit him, just so he could, quote-unquote, grow into it, even though they were rich enough to buy him clothes whenever he needed them. But not that they cared. Throughout his whole life, aka up to his inevitable death, he was sent to Catholic schools. Who doesn't love those? Where he additionally met his best friend, quote-unquote best friend, Xavier, who he cares about a lot. Like, they hang out a lot, and it's platonic, guys, totally. He would often hang out with Xavier because his family hates him, so, you know, there's a relationship there that totally lasted. Anyway, so a few years later, his parents have another child. Yay. They end up having another child named Echo. And Echo has become the favorite child. Because, well, they actually wanted this one. Of course, Charlie loves his little brother because he's a good big brother. Sorta. Of course he loves his little brother, but he's just neglected. He's majorly abused. His parents beat him because trauma. So that's just kind of like a gist of his home life, is that it's horrible. He's neglected. He's not very liked. And he thinks everybody would be better without him. Throughout Charlie's whole life, he's often had a feminine look to him. He takes after his mom. He has very female genetics. He's not a female, but he looks very feminine. And he also doesn't grow as much as the other boys. He ended up being, he's just awfully short. So he's often bullied at school because it's not manly, and he needs to grow up and be a man because he can totally control his height. But Xavier's always been with him throughout that time. But over time, just the stuff at home and at school and in public were just overwhelming him and just caused a lot of deep, dark thoughts, and it was affecting him badly. And he didn't know where to go with these thoughts because he didn't feel like he had a place to go, which he didn't other than with Xavier. And even then, their time was limited together. It just, over time, got worse and worse and worse and worse, and the thoughts got darker and darker and darker, and he just didn't know how to cope with them. So he just ignored them, and he had multiple erratic behavioral issues from this anger. But no one really noticed because he wasn't exactly liked. But if you asked anyone, he was fine. He didn't seem to be weird or acting out of turn. Nobody would expect him to do anything sadistic. Maybe he was just having a rough time, you know? But that mindset soon changed from the people when some crimes were reported having missing people in their town. finding the bodies not very far from the town.